Ah yes, Super Mario Land. The very first mainline Mario game to be able to put in your pocket. Released in 1989, this game also has an amazing soundtrack. The most memorable song must be its main theme, the Piraputo Kingdom. Wait, what? That doesn't spell what I said. Piraputo is the Japanese name for this kingdom. It comes from Piramito and Egypto. All you English-speaking viewers know this kingdom as the Birabuto Kingdom. That's odd. I believe the main reason is that the katakana for pu looks very similar to bu, especially when it's written in tiny letters written on a typewriter. And that's not even the worst of it. At least these sound alike. Nintendo has terrible consistency with names between countries, like Mario, Pokémon, Animal Crossing, Kirby... I'll get to you in a second. Anyway, let's dive into this confusing conundrum. I'm Kenjirina, and this is Nintendo's Localization Sucks. First things first, let's look at why this happens. There are a few reasons. Character names can reference books, movies, historical events, or culture in general, as well as the names having a language-specific meaning, such as being related to a pun, or it's simply a localization choice to make the names more fitting. So, the localizer's job is much more than just translating the game. Sometimes they need to come up with character names that actually make sense in their country. For example, imagine you were the English localizer for Super Mario Bros. And Mr. Miyamoto came up to you and said, こいつの名前はパックンフラワーです。英語への翻訳をお願いします。If you put that name through Machine Translate, it gives you Packenflower. Not only does this not make sense in English, do you really think Machine Translate as good as what we have today existed back in 1985? No! It barely existed at all! So if you didn't have basic understanding of Japanese onomatopoeia, and that pakkun means chomp, you were cooked. So, put that imagination to the test. Look at the character, or enemy or whatever, and think of a name that would fit its looks, behavior, and meaning in Japanese somewhat translated into English. And boom, you get a piranha plant. So, let's finally look at the hilarious world of inconsistent names. First, main cast. Okay, we got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy. Bowser is Koopa, but even in English we sometimes call him King Koopa. Yoshi, Wario, Waluigi, Kinopio... Wait, what? Pinocchio? No, not Pinocchio. Kinopio. Subtle but important difference. Then what's Toadette called? Kinopiko. Because a lot of Japanese women have names that end in ko. Next, the original Super Mario Bros. The only consistent name is the Hammer Bros. The others? Well, Goombas are Kuribo. There's actually a fun bit of trivia here. Mr. Miyamoto drew a shiitake mushroom with feet, but the other developers, including Takashi Tezuka, the one that named him, saw it as a chestnut. Kuribo literally means chestnut boy. Koopa Troopas are Noko Noko. Bullet Bills are Kira. Yeah, I see why they changed that. Bloopers are Gesso. Cheep Cheeps are Puku Puku, the onomatopoeia for fish going glub glub. Buzzy Beetles are Metto. Spinies are Togezo. And Lakitu is called Jugemu, named after a Japanese nonsense rakugo, a form of comedic Japanese storytelling written in the Edo period. It features a child with a comedically long name, which basically means to wish eternal life. Spiny eggs are called Paipo. Piranha pods are called Gurindai. And the spiked balls that Spike and Patui have are called Shuringan. All of these names are in the same story. This is the full story. I'm not gonna read all of it. Next, Super Mario Bros. 2, which is actually not Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, but almost everyone knows that. Shy Guys are called Heiho. Cobrats are called Garagero. Wart is called Mamu. And Birdo is called... Catherine? Yes, she is literally named Catherine in Japanese. Mouser is called Don Churuge, a kind of stereotypical Spanish-like name here in Japan. Sniffets are called Mucho. Ninjas are called Hakkun. Flurries are called Nakabon. Well, are there any consistent names in this game? Well, there's the Mask Gate. That's about it. Super Mario Bros. 3, let's go! The only consistent names are Boom Boom and the 7 Koopalings, which didn't have individual names in Japan, and were actually named in America by Dave Brooks. All of the names come from singers and radio show hosts, except for Larry, which in Dave Brooks' words, he just looked like a Larry. Boos are called Teresa, which comes from tereru, which means shy. Thwomps are called dossun, again onomatopoeia. Chain chomps are called wang wang, which actually come from one of Mr. Miyamoto's childhood traumas of being barked at by a rabid dog. Sledge Bros used to be called himan burosu, but got changed to mega burosu, because maybe himan was not a nice word towards fat people, I guess? And Rotodiscs are called cookie. I guess? The list goes on and on. Even newer games do this. It's inevitable. And you thought the Mario series is the only one that does this, didn't you? Think again. Take a look at Pokémon. As of September of 2016, which was the newest article I could find, trust me, there were 721 Pokémon, including ones from Generation 1 to Generation 6. The amount of Pokémon that have the same name in English and Japanese is 136. That is only about 19% of all Pokémon at the time. Now, that was 10 years ago, so if there's anyone with more up-to-date info, please let everyone know in the comments. I will pin that comment. Also, ever since Generation 2, Nintendo has been making sure that all legendary Pokémon have the same name everywhere, which I think is pretty neat. So, Mario, Pokémon, is there any other games that have consistency issues? Of course there is! Animal Crossing is another game with a lot of unique character names, and almost all of them are different in Japanese. You know Raymond, the really cool cat with glasses and heterochromia. In Japanese, he's called Jack. Wait, then what's Jack called? Pumpkin. Pumpkin and king put together. Yeah. Tom Nook is called Tanukichi, coming from Tanuki, the animal that he is. Red is called Tsunekichi, coming from Kitsune, Japanese for fox. Timmy and Tommy are called Tsubukichi and Mamekichi, respectively. Both of their names mean something small. Isabelle is called Shizue-san. The sun is there to sound polite. Looks like name consistency just doesn't exist in Nintendo games. But not all hope is lost. It's not exactly a Nintendo game, but more of a HAL Laboratory game. That's right, I'm talking about Kirby. This game's Japanese and English names are basically the same. We've got Kirby, King Dedede is Dedede Daio, Daio meaning king. Waddle Dee stays the same, Waddle Doo stays the same, Hothead, Blade Knight, Adelaine, Ribbon, Dark Matter, Magalore is Mahoroa, but close enough! Mwah! Thank you, Mr. Sakurai! But how? Well, one reason is that most of the names are already in English, to sound cool. Naming your character after English names or words make you look smart and cool here in Japan. Also, another reason is the localizers being lazy. Wait, is that a good thing? In this case, I guess yes. I mean, one of Kirby's Dream Land 3's mid-bosses is called Yuki. This comes from the Japanese word for snow, and yet, it's the same in English as well. Anyway, there are many more characters with inconsistent names. I just don't really want to say all of them, because I want to keep this video short so future me doesn't need to edit that much. So if you guys want to know more about localization inconsistencies for Mario, Pokémon, and Animal Crossing, I highly recommend that you watch these videos next. I've watched them, and they do a much better job of explaining them than I could ever do. In conclusion, English has dominated the Earth as the most spoken second language. So any name in English games will be completely identical wherever you go. However, unlike English being similar to most Latin languages, Japanese is a very unique language. So there's many jokes and puns that don't translate well between languages. And that's a bummer, because Japan is one of the largest and most influential game markets in the world. and Nintendo is one of the most largest game companies of all of Japan. So, you English-speaking viewers might have a hard time conversing with a Japanese Nintendo fan. Do you know how much I struggled in elementary school trying to talk with the biggest Mario fan in the school? I had the hardest time trying to remember that Lakitu is Jugemu. Anyway, if you're wondering what a character is called in different languages, go to the wiki page of the character, scroll down, and you should see the languages section. Hope that helps! Anyway, I'm gonna go remember all the names of enemies from Yoshi's Island in Japanese. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!